Well, hello everyone. We're here in Nighthawk Equity. We're here in Northern Atlanta. We have a deal under contract, so we're just walking it right now. My name is Michael Blanc, CEO of Nighthawk Equity of Garrett Lynch, who found the deal, reeled it in. We got Drew Niffen, the president
Hello.
of Nighthawk. And so, Garrett, tell us a little bit about this property.
Yeah, so this property is it's in one of the highest medium income household areas in all of Atlanta, and it's a fantastic opportunity because it's the one on the block that just needs a little bit of modernization. It's a little bit older, and when you look at it, it just doesn't match what else is happening in the market. And so there's opportunities on the exteriors to upgrade them to make them match what's going on in the market, and then also the interiors. They've done some light renovations. We call them partial renovations, but haven't really taken it up to what the market demands. And so there's a large gap in the rent that we were able to close by acquiring this property and then thus increasing the value.
Yeah, but the question is, why hasn't the previous seller do those things? Like, why we're looking at some of the comps, and the rents are like $350 under comps with a little bit extra work.
Yeah, so every deal is a little bit different, and in this particular one, we're dealing with a seller that has over 40,000 apartments, and this is their personal deal that they were just going to hold forever. So this particular seller wasn't really motivated to go up and match the market, adding granite countertops, adding $10,000 an apartment to bring it up to where it needs to be. So he was willing to sell it because he found another opportunity. He wanted a 1031 exchange into, and so we were able to sneak in, find it off market.
Sneaky Pete. Now, but Drew, explain to us why this is an off-market deal, right? How does that even come about, and why would a seller not want the highest possible price for a property, like in this case? Well, I mean, what happened here, and what is not uncommon?
Yeah, well, it is counterintuitive at first, but what does happen is the seller in this situation finds another opportunity they wanted 1031 into, and time is of the essence. And 1031s have a very tight timeline that you have to fit into. And if you want to do one of those, you need a buyer that's going to perform on time, and that's where we fit in. We have a reputation here in this market of performing on time, not monkeying around, and closing when we say we're going to close. And that's how we got this off-market deal.
But the point is, there are sellers who sell for various different reasons. Number one, people are like, why would a seller sell? Well, they sell for various different reasons. And a lot of the activity happens in off-market right now. Well, why the heck would someone want an off-market? This is an example of that. They know exactly what their strike price was. If I can get this price, They will sell. They don't want a bunch of people parading down. Plus, it takes 6 weeks, like I said, to even create the listing. And then who knows how many weeks for buyers to come through best and final. Right, so sometimes it actually happens to the off market that a seller just wants to sell off market. This was an example of that, and they've already held it for many different years. They probably they got what they needed out of it, and now we can come in here and improve it even further, because this property there's about 11 in the area, and this is kind of on the lower end of what's out there. The comps are much nicer.
When I first came to this property, I thought, hey, there's a lot of potential here. This property looks good. It's interesting. Then you go and you see the other comp properties in this area, and they are gorgeous. And it is clear there's a huge gap between what this property is and what the other ones are. And we can close that gap and make this place gorgeous. And in that process, make it much more valuable for our investors and a better place for our tenants.
But I would say they're gorgeous, but they're within the comp set. So it's like, it's not like you're looking at A-class properties and you're like, wow, they got stone everywhere and all this stuff. The vinyl siding, it looks the same as ours, except they're different colors here. They're mismatched, and it's not as modern compared to the other properties where you have, just a much nicer two-tone color. You have everything's kind of squared up on the siding, and it just has a cleaner, more consistent look. You're missing that here. That's one component of how we're going to be able to achieve the higher rents. Now, when you move on the inside, you have a whole different story, because you don't even have the granite countertops. You're missing fixtures in the right places. There's a lot of things between all of it. You bring it all together, and we can see a direct path to where the rents can go. And then in our conservative underwriting approach, we're not even trying to get the highest rents in the market. We're just trying to get the next level up.
We get a lot of ideas from the comps. Like we even said the landscaping or some of the amenities or some of the finishes. Hey, let's copy that, of course, in our own way. But I think the point is, you're an entrepreneur. When you go to these properties, you kind of see, okay, what's the problem and how can I fix it? Right. And I think that's the secret of success. The other one really is is building relationships with brokers. I mean, you said earlier, our relationship with a broker is very strong through some of the other conversations and deals we've done. And we were one of the first people, not the only people, but one of the first people that he called. And then we're very diligent in responding to them, and we do what we say we're doing, move forward, and we kind of lock it up.
We've built a reputation as a group as someone that performs quickly and easily. There's a lot of people out there that want to cause headaches and they want to transact, but then they got all these, they're going to retrade and they're going to do all these things. The easier you make it for the brokerages, the more they're going to come to you with deals that no one else can see. The deal that we're sitting at right now, there's really only a handful of groups that even knew about it. And so it made it a lot easier for us to go in and compete and win it, especially with our reputation.
So if you're an active investor, stick with it. Keep building relationship with brokers, because people are doing deals. Our students are doing deals. We're doing deals. And they come from the relationship with the brokers. And the good news is it doesn't take you years to develop those relationships. It can take you just a couple, 3 months of being very responsive and communicated with them. If you're a passive investor, you're looking for opportunities to invest, we'd love to have a conversation with you at Nighthawk. Head over to nighthawkequity.com and click the join button and have a conversation with us, and we can share with you some of our next upcoming deals. So catch you guys next time.
Thanks so much.